All right, this video is going to teach you, we're going to review for loops a little bit and just the concept of range. And then we're going to do while loops. We're going to learn how to make a while loop. So I think we mentioned last week that you can define a range, it's a data type in Python, that will sort of count for you. So we can define a range, let's do home on the range. If it's silly, it must be a variable name I made up. If it's not silly, it's probably a Python command. So home on the range, let's just get the range of numbers from 1 to 11. Remember that the arguments in range start with the first value, stop just before the second value, so this is going to stop at 10. And if I had a third value, that would be the step. What do I count by? So if I execute this, nothing looks like it happens. If I want to look at the range, I have to type home on the range. You can't see it. It's still packaged in its little range format. To unpack it and look at it, you have to turn it into a list. Okay. So there's the list, home on the range. Now we can iterate over each of those values using a for loop. So for address in home on the range, that will loop. The first time through, address will be 1. The second time through, address will be 2, etc. Address is also a variable name. It's something that I just chose and made up. And within this for loop, we can use some conditional statements. So we could say if address, let's say we wanted to, because this is a GIS class, we wanted to divide the even numbers from the odd numbers and say that the even numbers were on one side of a street and the odd numbers were on the other side of a street for geocoding or something. So how would you express that these numbers are even or odd in math terms? Well, you could divide and then look at the remainder, but Python isn't really set up to do elementary school math and produce remainders in the division function. Instead, I don't know if you've heard of this, but there is a function called Modulo. And Modulo just gives you the remainder of a division problem. So like 5 modulo 2 would be 1. The way you do modulo, or something that's called mod, in Python is with the percent symbol. So if I do address mod 2, if that's equal to 0, say it's an even number, we can say print, I probably should do this with proper tab structure, print the string of the address, because don't forget, address is a number and we can't print a number, is on the right side of the street. Okay. Elif. Otherwise, if address mod 2 equals 1, which is to say it's an odd number, we could print the same thing again. Let's copy it and paste it because we're lazy. But this time it's on the left side of the street. Okay. And on the off chance, like maybe we went and modified home on the range and we had some, I don't know, we had fractions in there or something. If there's some situation where everything goes wrong, we'll print not on this street. Okay, but we should never hit that case here. So what is this little script going to do? The first time through, address is going to be 1. Address divided by 2 has a remainder of 0. No, it doesn't. It has a remainder of 1. So it should say 1 is on the left side of the street. Then it should go back around and pick up address equals 2. Okay, address divided by 2 has a 0 remainder. Yes, it does. So it should say that's on the right side of the street. So that's how this little script should work. And indeed, that's what we get. So that's just a quick review of how for and if-elif-else works. We did this. It should be familiar. I'm just reminding you. A while loop is a little bit different. Instead of going one by one, say through a list or a range, a while loop looks at some particular condition. And as long as it's true, it keeps doing the same damn thing again. Only when it stops being true does the while loop change or end. And so you need to make sure that inside your while loop, you have something that is eventually going to cause it to end. While loops can be a little bit risky because they can go wild. They can just keep running forever. And I'd like to remind you that the way you stop them is to go kernel interrupt. That's how you break a cycle that you can't end otherwise. So let's try a while loop. Going into a while loop, it's good to have a variable already defined. Like I'm going to define a variable called bottle count. And I'm going to set it to start at 100. And so the format of a while loop is not that different. It's while and the test case. So while bottle count is greater than 0, do something and do it again and again and again and again and again. I'm just going to put it here like do something. And then I need to have something that is going to make bottle count work its way toward that 0 point, right? So I'm going to say inside the loop, tabbed in, so it's happening every time we pass through this while loop, I'm going to reset bottle count to equal bottle count minus 1. So the first time through, bottle count is 100, then it's 99, then it's 98, and then it winds up at 0. Sorry, I had to let in the cat. Okay, let's look at that do something. Let's put something in here. So let's have it print. Bottle count is a number. If we want to print it, we have to turn it to a string. And then we can have some text. We need a comma here. And then string of bottle count again. I just like spaces here, sorry. I like to make it look nice. And then remember, we can use a backslash to go on to the next line if it's getting too long. And then also remember that we can use backslash n to put a new line into our printout. Okay, that's an escape character, a tab escape character. And then I can continue. If one of those bottles should happen to fall, what do I put? str of bottle count minus 1. Bottles of beer on the wall. I hope you know this song. If you don't know this song, it's one that kids sing to waste time when they're on a long bus ride. All right, so let's see if we can get that done. I hope I haven't made any typos, but if I have, we will deal with them. Make sure all my quotes are closed. Make sure I have pluses between everything. Everything looks good. So what's going to happen? The first time through this loop, bottle count will be 100. While bottle count is greater than 0, 100 is greater than 0, so it's going to do the stuff that's tabbed in beneath it. It's going to print this. It's going to make this calculation. It's going to reduce bottle count by 1. Bottle count will now be 99. And it'll go to the while again. 99 is still greater than 0. It will do it again. Let's also, just for kicks, put something at the end that is outside the while loop to show us that the while loop has ended. So we'll say end of loop or something, just so we know that we've finally failed the while condition and we've bumped out of the loop. So let's try that. Well, it seems to have worked without a syntax error. We have our song. It counts down appropriately. And then at the very end down here, when we get to one bottle of beer on the wall, we get to the end of the loop. So that is how a while loop works.